Hi. Welcome to 2020, the musical. This is Act 1, Chapter 1, the Prologue. Now, I always knew 2020 was going to be a monumental year because I was turning 50 and my marriage was turning 25. It was going to be a year of reflection and celebration, a goalpost. But I always wondered what 2020 would be like. Would it be terrible, like Back to the Future Part 2? Or awesome, like Blade Runner, the director's cut? Yeah, well, I didn't know. So my New Year's goal was to write some songs and record them with my Hedwig and the Angry Inch tribute band, the Sideways Grimace. We'll get to that later. But on New Year's Day, I wrote the first song, and it was about the promise and possibility of the new year. And spoiler alert, we all know how it turned out. But as the year progressed, or regressed, or digressed, I started to use this songwriting more like therapy. And that's the therapy that I'm going to share with all of you tonight. And therapy, like songwriting, is a personal process, and sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes you have to be loud and messy and naked, often naked. So I needed a place to do that. So late at night, after my wife and kids were asleep, I would go in my car in the garage and I would record. Now there was no depression. I mean, some depression, but no emissions because it's an electric car. And the songs that I recorded are the songs that I'm going to play for you. And the very first one, written in the before times, was called 2020. Do you remember when 2020 seemed so far away? Would we have robots and be living in outer space? Would we eliminate death and disease? Would we learn how to live in peace? In 2020, would we fix our mistakes and stop the bleeding that's depleting us before it's too late? In 2020, would we realize at last we're not destined to repeat our past? Unless we're destined to repeat our past. But 2020 is now underway, and dystopia's utopia compared to today. We choose the fiction, we're going back because we lost the definition of fact. In 2020, we stare at the screens, they are collecting all the wreckage and mining for meaning. In 2020, we've sucked ourselves dry, but we refuse to move the needle despite the lies keep leading the blind. But 2020's feeling alright for me. The globe's getting worse, but life's still better than I ever could dream. In 2020, I've got long-lasting love and can focus on my motivation and practice my best action. Strengthen most my close relations. Gonna make 2020 mine. I can try to